Boxing King Media in association with the Riyadh season. Delighted to have with me Ben. Shalom. Ben, great to see you. First, how are you?
I'm very well. Great to be here. What a week, what a night we have in store. Good to see you as well, mate.
Absolutely. Obviously, let's start off with your guys, JB, Joshua Boatsi, Tyler Denny. Just talk to me a little bit about Tyler's run, you know, from the small hall shows, from selling tickets to pay his own purse to now chief supporting from 96,000 people.
It's ridiculous, and it should give inspiration to every boxer. This isn't someone that's been built up. This isn't someone that's had a promoter. This isn't someone with an extensive amateur record. This isn't someone that's had it all on the plate. This is someone that's had losses. This is someone that's had to been written off. This is someone that's had to go on the road. I still remember where I was when he took, and I wasn't promoting him at the time, and he took a fight at 2 weeks' notice, I believe, against Derek Azazi for $4,000. And he was the underdog. He was brought in as an opponent for Derek. He wins that fight. He then fights, I believe he goes into the River Wilson Bent fight. For the third time of asking, wins an English title on this. It was a rematch when I believe he won the first. But then the run and getting him from there, and him coming in from the away fighter so many times and being the underdog, and he's just grown in stature, grown in confidence, grown in, and refined his ability, and it's been a pleasure to watch. It's been one of the best careers to be involved in my career, and it couldn't happen to anyone nicer. I remember just when we won the European title, we couldn't believe it. That was our Everest. That was beyond, like, that was one of the, I remember that night in Wolverhampton as being one of my proudest nights. We took this kid from on his arse. He won the English title, and we took him all the way to European title. And it was an incredible night. And then the purse bid came, Felix Cash. We lost the purse bid. Couldn't believe that Matchroom bid. I don't think they expected to win it, if you ask them. And they had to put on a show, and it main evented. He then goes and puts on this ridiculously good performance, one that I don't think he gets credit enough. I think he eats your soul. I think that's what he is. Everyone says, oh, Felix doesn't live the life, but he's still a good fighter. He went in there like a champion, and then this comes up. I mean, it's quite remarkable. You have to thank Riyadh Season for recognising a true British boxing story. You'd hope he gives, you know, inspiration to every professional boxer. As a promoter, win or lose, all you want is someone that's going to come and give their all, be entertaining, turn up on time, not cause problems, and give the fans what they want. And he's done it, and he's an unbelievable fighter. He gets in a zone that I only see in very few fighters. He will enjoy every second of this week. I've got not 1% of me is worried about the occasion. He will enjoy everything. He will conserve his energy, and he will enjoy fighting on Saturday night. And you're going to see the very, very best Tyler Denny against Hamza Shiraz. Of course, Hamza's a great fighter. We know that. We hear about that. Tyler Denny's ready, and it's a massive opportunity.
Willie Hutchinson certainly is no walkover. He proved that against Craig Richards. Joshua Boatsi looks like he's fired up, and looks like there's some animosity between both fighters there. Tough fight?
Very tough fight. But Josh Boatsi has had the fire lit inside him by Willie Hutchinson, and I'm grateful for Willie for that. I know Josh. Josh is never going to start trouble. He's a gentleman. But believe me, you stick it on him, he will react. He's a vicious guy. He's a brutal guy. He came over from Ghana. He's had to fight his way to this position. He's fought on the streets, ended up in a boxing ring. He knows how to handle himself. So he's not going to be intimidated by anyone. I'm glad to see how confident Willie Hutchinson is. He's here on merit. Would we have considered him 12 months ago? No. It's for an interim world title. For me, the biggest fight on the card outside of the main event, without a doubt. So much on the line. It's time for Josh Boatsi to make a statement.
And I might be wrong here, but I think it's the first time yourself, Eddie, Frank, Calla, the four main promoters in the UK, have all got fighters on one show. I could be wrong. This is top of my head. But finally, we're getting a bit of unity, and we're getting fights made between each other without, you know, I know clickbaits and titles and things get said by media outlets and stuff like that, but it's great that finally you guys can put things aside and work together.
You have to thank Riyadh Season, you have to thank His Excellency. This is all any boxing fan ever wanted, and he doesn't care about the politics, he doesn't care about the bullshit, he doesn't care about the heat. If anything, he just doesn't want to hear it. If he wants a fight, he makes the fight, and our job is to build the best fighters we possibly can. That's what we've invested in, and now they can't be ignored, and now we're making great fights. And so yeah, it's amazing to be here. As a boxing fan, it's a dream. The fights getting made, the big nights, everything's happening so quickly. As a fan, it's an unbelievable time to be involved in the sport. I remember when we tried to start working with other promoters, it was hard. We've had to come through so much. I remember we actually ended up, the most successful time we did it was the women's boxing night. And that's why we invested so much in women's boxing, because they would all fight each other and you could get all the promoters involved. That night we had Top Rank, Matchroom, ourselves, Dimitri Salita. We put on one of the most historic nights of all time. I really believe that. Incredible. But that was in women's boxing. Now we're seeing it in men's boxing, and it's almost too good to be true. I just hope it can. I hope it will last. I believe the right man behind it is going to make sure it does.
I mean, you're the youngest out of the four by a few years. How have you been taken in within that circle?
Promoters aren't responsible for my business, so they're not going to open me. When I got my promoter's license at 23, I knew this was going to be a brutal way to the top. No one's. It's so. If you look at Sauerlands and the Hearns and the Warrens, and it's family establishments, decades and decades and decades. There's a reason why you can't get in. So it was always going to be a fight. We've had to do it. We've had to fight, and we've built a great stable. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure now to be working in boxing with everything that's going on. And I'm really proud of the team for getting here. Still very, very early days, and I think people forget that. But yeah, amazing.
I saw some clips on X, formerly known as Twitter, where Eddie Hearn's actually giving you some praise and saying he respects you, respects what you've done, and respects, more importantly, for yourself getting that Sky contract. So is that genuine respect there?
I find that disrespectful, to be honest. His career started at Sky. Mine certainly didn't. You know, respect me for starting my own business, respect me for coming into this industry on my own, respect me for going to different broadcasters and trying to make ends meet. So I actually found it disrespectful. I appreciate he can't relate to that, but I found that disrespectful, but I don't care. And I think it's good that there's now a communication line. I think it's good that there's open conversations. And as I say, all the fans want to know is, are the fights going to get made? And because of Riyadh season, because of the promoters now working together, they are getting made.
Are we still in that stage though where do you let fights marinate, or do fighters have to jump in straight away? Or do you have to sort of look at, for example, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith? Is Adam ready for that step up?
Look, I don't think it's a huge step up. I really don't. Personally, I think Adam Azim does win. Do I think he'll be better prepared with 2 or 3 more fights consistently? 100%. That's my job as a promoter. Things happen in boxing, and you want to make sure that you've done all you can. This is a kid that started with me. It's a kid that I'm close to the family. He wants to fight. The fight will happen, but the fight will happen where I know we've done our job. I think we're sitting on one of the biggest stars in world boxing, never mind British boxing. Adam Azim doesn't need Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith needs Adam Azim. And that's the difference. And it will happen, and it will happen at the right time for Adam.
Everyone's talking about a 5v5 Matchroom versus Boxer. I'm going to put you on the spot now. If you were to pick 5 fighters from your stable to fight their 5, which 5 would you choose from your side?
Which
5 from your side?
Eubank, Whittaker, Vidal. Got to have some females in there. Caroline, Martin Bacoli.
That's a heavy 5. It's a heavy 5. Ben, before I let you go, quick prediction: Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. I know you was here watching Joshua Klitschko. You're here promoting on the event now. How time flies. Yeah. Quick prediction.
AJ 5 rounds knockout.
Ben Shalom, thank you for speaking to Boxing King Media.
Cheers, thank you. Cheers, man.